Are you going to go to your studio today?
Of course.
Good. That's good.
What else does one do?
I don't know. What else does one do?
One scrambles eggs for one's friends.
So were you one of these kids that said to yourself at 2 years old, I'm going to be an artist?
Sure.
Really?
Sure.
I am a plastician, which is an artist that works with traditional media, but in non-traditional ways.
If I could be something else, I would be an embryologist or some kind of mathematician, but I can't be, so.
I hate to paraphrase you, but you sort of see your paintings as prayers.
You see them as prayers, and then they get titles like Broad Street Boogie Woogie.
I couldn't resist that.
It's weird sometimes talking to a curator or a collector or a gallery person. I tend to choke up a little bit, and I'm not as fluid as I am if I'm just maybe talking on the telephone driving down the road, which is a bad idea, but everything's disconnected.
I think you mentioned the other day, just a while ago, that you have to be doing it or you sort of get irritable.
Why do you make art? I make art because I have to. And I could come up with all these different reasons. Like I make art for my son, I make art for for history and for the world, and just I make it for my family. All these different reasons.
Sometimes I might think, oh, I don't understand why I'm not world renowned. I'm so good. But then it might be a thought in the morning, and in the afternoon I'll go, I'm never going to do this again. I won't put it up. It's so hard.
It's never come very natural for me to paint. I had to really try hard to learn. Right now I'm really interested in this huge obsession with the apocalypse that's happening everywhere. I'm really interested in how that's become a huge social construct, and I like making work about it.
Know that you are a well-versed, well-trained, well-read painter, very painterly painter. And then there's this other layer that's very personal.
Yeah.
So there appears to me to be two sides to you. And
this is called schizophrenia.
That is totally, well, it's totally abstract.
Look, if I knew what I was doing, I could quit. But Philip Guston said something very charming about that. What he loved about painting was he'd paint and paint and paint. And then he'd finally put his brush down and get back and he'd say, my God, so that's what I've been doing.
Broke a lot of ceramics and decided to draw. And trying to draw the idea that I was trying to build in ceramics. I did, but I haven't completely taken it to its limit yet. Computer couldn't do them.
But I also loved the newspaper comics when I was a kid, and they were brilliant. They aren't anymore, I would argue, the way they once were. They used to be full of drawing, and hatching and cross-hatching and elaborate backgrounds. And, I love that stuff.
I like to do lots of drawings, and a lot of times I have figures that some people will describe that they look like bugs or sticks.
I remember walking around, I must have been like 5, I was walking around and I stumbled on like a deer carcass. And at that point, you just sort of, even at a really young age, you recognize that there is a, it's kind of scary to see something like that, but you recognize that that's a natural thing as well.
So we transferred the marks from the floor onto we actually did these large drawings, we did large tracings of areas before. Yeah, as soon as we walked into that space, it was just this beautiful abstract drawing on the floor.
I remember as a child being fascinated with the markings made on the railroad cars. I know Deborah and I it's always a competition when we're just walking down the street or something and we see something we both see something at the same time on the street. Could be, it could be a piece of metal, it could be a piece of wire, it could be a piece of paper that had been discarded and stepped on, or metal that's been patinaed, and we both go for it.
And I finally got to a point where I missed figuration and started doing paintings like that ridiculous one over there, where I was drawing very simplified figures and actually doing the color by rolling dice. But I was back into figuration again. But I think the figure now, it looks like it's here to stay in some way or another.
I love figs. Figs are my favorite.
Fig Newtons, we both love Fig Newtons.
I think I'll be set. We have 2 giant fig trees. I've come up with figuritas with margarita, you know, mix, sort of. But then there's also, in Spanish, fig is ego. So,
so Fig one's ego.
Yeah. Ego Boost or Ego Rita. I think the ego definitely is coming back.
A piece of wood with some bristles on the end. Oh, no, but it's a marvelous privilege. You know, it does sometimes amaze me. Nobody bursts in and grabs my brushes and breaks them over the knees. Out, get out and get a briefcase.
You know, all we are as artists, we're just workers, and we're just doing our work.
I never want to go anywhere except in the studio.